hour, I would at least introduce to you about a concept that has to do with language ideology. And this is based on Professor Su Xiyao's study on Taike, okay, on Taike. Now, let's take a look. So in this lecture, mainly I want to talk about a concept called Taike, written this way. That's a cultural stereotype of young Taiwanese adults whose lifestyle, linguistic repertoire, and also fashion sense are considered distinctively local and unsuccessfully imitative of current trends. Okay, let's look at it. The term may index local identity and non-conformity, a way to explore language ideologies concerning localism, cosmopolitanism, and also authenticism in Taiwan. Okay, so let's take a look at what Taike means. Taike, the two characters, is composed of two morphemes. The first one, Tai, meaning Taiwan, and Ke has two meanings, according to Kansi Dictionary. The first meaning, Ke, means 客人, like a guest, right? And the second one is a visitor. Anyone from another place could be a Ke, could be like a guest, a visitor. So this is a strange combination. And how does this term come about? What does it mean? It means a kind of subculture in the new century. Is it the same as Taiwanese? Okay, I put a question mark because that's something we want to explore. Does it necessarily mean a person who is vulgar and impolite? Does it mean it's a good man but rude and low class, low level? Do we have negative connotation associated with the terms, especially when a northern Taiwanese person, a person who lives in Taipei or in the northern part of Taiwan, when they talk about Taike, do they have negative connotation to refer to the person that's being called Taike? Is it necessarily true that females or the higher educated and the younger, when they call somebody Taike, are they evaluating them more negatively than their counterparts? Okay, these are all the questions that we want to address during this topic. Okay, so how many of you have at least heard about the term Taike? Wow, okay. So before we go on to talk about it, why don't you share with us what's your stereotype or what's your understanding of the term, James?
Well, I guess the type of music, Taiwanese type of music I like is said to be very Thai, very, I guess people say it's very song pia pia.
Okay, how would you translate your Taiwanese?
Very cheap, I guess you could probably say.
Joe, do you agree? Song pia pia, meaning cheap?
Low class.
Low class, yes, low class. Is it vulgar?
Personally, I think it's vulgar, but not cheap.
Okay, personally, he thinks it's vulgar. You belong to the younger generation, right? Okay, so different generation, different class of people, different group of people may look at Taike differently, but you're definitely right. Taike first aroused to our attention because of their music. Okay, so in a little while we're going to see the kind of music they represent. Does it necessarily mean they are rude? What is rude? Is it because the way they talk, or the way they behave, the way they dress? Are they rude? Who raised your hand just now? Okay, Miriam.
Well, I mean, I don't really know. I just heard the term, and I have like the idea it's more like loud and obnoxious, but I don't think it necessarily would mean
Mm-hmm.
that some people would get from them, but it doesn't mean that they are definitely.
Okay. I have a hard time understanding the term, really, because when the taike music was popular in Taiwan, I was not here. I was away for a long time. So when I came back and I read this article was actually not on taike, actually on Thai, as James has said. It has become an adjective that you are using the term Thai to refer to a lot of qualities that seems so hard for us to pinpoint or to pin down. Okay, so perhaps when we look at more examples, we can have our own consensus in terms of what is being Thai. So let's introduce some historical background. The term taike or its variant tu, taike tu, is song bia bia, the vulgar, meaning vulgar, was said to be used by young 外省人. That means people who are speaking from another province, referring to the Mandarin speaker in the early 40s, 50s, or 60s. So we would just call them mainlander gangsters in the 60s and 70s to refer to the 本省人 people from this province, meaning the native Taiwanese Southern, of whose lifestyle and taste they disapprove as vulgar. Okay, that was the historical background in the 60s and in the 70s. But in the 90s, based on the appearance, not in fashion dress with bright and shining decoration and behavior, their ways of talking and the show-off style, that's what Miriam has just talked about. So in the 90s, the meaning has changed, and they like to dress something with bright and shining decoration. But now it's so fashionable, right? You like the, what is the term called? Bling bling, yes. Isn't that fashionable? Yeah, people like that, right? Okay, so you see, it's like language, different generation, different time, different period. You have different conception about the same situation or the same phenomenon. In the 2004-2005 period, they repackaged the term as something consumable and trendy and even popular. You see, as time goes by, you have different meaning. So the TVBS program called 两代电力公司, that's a program during this time. The TV program invited college students or taikers themselves to discuss issues related to taike. Okay? And the taike 摇滚演唱会, that's the rock concert, the taike rock and roll concert, was held to claim local identity and non-conformity. So now it has assumed a different meaning, unlike in the 60s and 70s, where that's a term by the mainlanders referring to the local gangster. So around 2005, the taike rock and roll concert, you have the famous singer, I believe that many of you are familiar with the Wu Bai and the Chen Sen, probably reclaimed the word taike. And the print media published books like Call Me Taike, so proud, right? Call Me Taike. And special magazine, Athlete Reader, linking the taike with local arts and culture. So Thai has assumed a totally different meaning by 2005. In this wave of taike discourse, Thai is about local identity, and taike is uniquely Taiwanese. Okay, so this is totally changed. So, who's this? You know it better than me. Okay, I still need Chester to help me out. And this, that's another singer that I just mentioned, Chen Sen, right? Okay, this is Chen Sen. And this is the bling bling. Okay, three sisters, and they would like to dress this way. They originally sang on the electronic, like a car. How do I say that? I write it down to see if we can find a good translation. this is a car, right? Okay, and the car is decorated, but usually they have the electronic, huh?
A float?
A float? You just call it a float? Similar to, if you have seen the Rose Parade, the Rose Parade, it's the same kind of concept, except that these people would just sing on the car, right? Like a carnival type. And they were just dressed up so shiny and bright. And they would sing Taiwanese songs only. Okay? So let's hear some of their famous songs. Okay, the first one. By Chen Sheng and Wu Bai. Why are they so popular? Can I ask for the reason for people who enjoy their concert? Dorothy.
I was gonna say because he wasn't wearing a shirt.
Okay. Anyone else who are fans of these people? Who are
I think they're very Daodi, so they're very local.
very local, okay. Okay, very local. Yeah, I think that's what they want to claim. Let's just listen to another person. That's a new song, just put out last year. And I had a hard time debating with Chester because I said this one to me is not so Thai. This one I consider she quite beautiful. Okay. Okay, she's Taiwanese, but that was sung in Cantonese, right?
And I think in the second half, she will like code switches between Taiwanese, English, and Mandarin Chinese, and also Cantonese. Yeah,
So code switching is almost like a feature in these songs by the Taike.
By the way, the dance is somewhat like a Taike dance, a typical style of Taike dance. You see the light or on the hand and yeah, and stuff. Yeah. This is
Oh, Chester, thank you. This is new to me. So you know the dance? No? Okay. This girl is the daughter of a quite famous Taiwanese host, right? Zhuge Liang, yeah. Yeah, yeah, she's a daughter. Totally unlike her father, right? Because I think she's quite beautiful. Yeah. 不是张飞 the other one, yeah. Not 张飞 the other one, yeah. Oh, okay. A real daughter, okay, a real daughter. Okay. All right, so what's the stigma? The term Taike has no equivalent in local languages other than Mandarin. So even though they are Taike, they cannot pronounce Taike into Taiwanese because it doesn't mean anything. When you want to refer to this phenomenon, they would have to be called Taike in Mandarin. So even when the singers involved in the Taike rock and roll concert tried to promote the term, they had to code switch to the Mandarin pronunciation of Taike within an otherwise Taiwanese speech. So even though they could carry a conversation totally Taiwanese, when they want to refer to the situation, they would have to use the Mandarin pronunciation. So this instance of code switching illustrates that Taike remains to be a term constructed by the Mandarin-speaking population. Okay, and in the press conference in 2005, remember we talked about 2004 and 2005, there's a different meaning to the term Taike. A number of political organizations, namely the Taiwan North Society, Beishe, and also the Taiwan Association of University Professors, I think it's called Taiwan 教授联盟, consider the literal meanings of Taike as visitors from outside, and it implies that Taiwanese is secondary to China. They want to make this a big issue. They always want to do this. And this, a total abandonment of the term was called for by these organizations due to the lack of substantial change in its self-degrading nature. Okay, so you can make many things into a political issue. To me, this is what it seems to be. The defining characters of this Taike, there are 4 of them. The fashion senses, their linguistic practices, their behavior and conduct, and also their mentality. Other than the mentality part, I think you can see the first three from, our YouTube songs. In terms of their fashion, they mix inconsistent stylistic element and has an outdated fashion sense. Is this true? From what you have just seen? Or from the last girl? Do you agree, Matan?
I haven't seen the love girls wearing green gloves around.
Okay. Who exaggerates and is showy? Probably for the first two male speakers, that's Chen Shen, I think he exaggerated and it's quite showy. Who pretends to know things that he actually doesn't know? I don't know, okay, because this is the mentality part, which is hard to tell from the film. Who swears and speaks Taiwan 国语, that is Taiwanese accented Mandarin. Taiwan 国语, very good, okay, you imitated well. For those of you who didn't know, is there anyone who hasn't heard about Taiwan 国语? Francis, do it again.
台湾国语
Okay, so like the retroflex, whatever you need to roll your tongue, you cannot do it properly. So 国语 becomes 国语, okay, or something like that. Okay, so these are the defining characters according to Dr. Su in her paper. And so as of now, based on data from 2008 to 2010, Taika jokes are seldom heard. And Tai, which is an adjective derived from Taika, has developed into a common descriptor in everyday language in comments like, that's so Thai. That's exactly what James told us, right? You heard it a lot? That's so Thai. In a positive or negative sense?
Usually negative.
Usually negative. Okay, good. Okay, issues regarding the adjectival use of Thai are the following. The current attitudes across different social groups. Okay, that's kind of negative. The ideologies concerning languages, localness, and globalness. Okay, so in Lin's 2008 paper, Taika was categorized as, for example, he has cited several studies on the study on Taika. So Taika can be a subjective group. Taika is constructed by as a construction by others, like those mainlanders would just call these local people. Taika as a subculture, as you have seen, I think now it's more accurate. You can see it's a kind of subculture, even in the songs that they have portrayed. And Taika as a media reproduction. So different people have different concept about Taika. Taika as a manifestation of cultural hegemony. Okay, so these are the different types of studies on Thai. So two near synonyms about localness. This will be interesting. You have heard about Taika. This should be the fourth tone, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll change it. Taika and Bantu. Okay, those are two terms. Is Taika similar to Bantu? Are they synonymous? Ban means original or root. Tu is the other one, like vulgar or not in fashion. Okay. So they have they do a poll, and they want people to vote on who is Taika. Wu Bai, the one did not have a shirt on, in a jacket without a shirt on. Wu Bai has the highest vote. The male rock and roll singer who played a significant role in Taika rock and roll concert. And also the Bling Bing, the three sisters, they got the second highest vote. And they are female singing group. And high score on Bantu. Bantu meaning like from here, from local here. if they are synonymous, if Taika and Bantu are synonymous, they should get the same kind of voting, right? You probably would expect Ubai to get a high vote on being Bantu, but that's not true. Guess who is Bantu? Wu Zhongxian. Okay, that's another talk show host. I don't know if you know who he is. Have you seen his show? He likes to joke, and to me that's really vulgar. Okay, to me that's really vulgar. Yeah.
No.
No, not that one. Short hair, but he likes to.
Is his show called The Jockey Show?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
He used to do Super Sunday, right?
Yeah.
He's
With-
had a
with
show for
Harlan.
20 years.
Mm.
My dad is he was classmates with Harlan, and Harlan has the same birthday as me.
Oh, okay. So probably I should ask Chester to post the picture of Wu Zhongxian or maybe his show to give you the link so that you will know who he is. Okay. But the second one you will know who he is. Who is Bantu? Chen Shui-bian, that's our ex-president. He's considered Bantu. Okay, so obviously these are two terms. Are they near synonyms? Originally they should, but because of different cultural background and different things has happened, I think these two terms now has assumed two totally different kind of meaning. So what is the meaning of being localness? Bantu. What is Bantu? Commonly related to Taiwanization, indigenization, and also Taiwanese nationalism. The Taiwanese language is also strongly associated with the discourses related to Bantu or Taiwanese nationalism. And Bantu is closely tied with identity label, Taiwan Ren. Okay, if you are Taiwan, you have to be Bantu, literally Taiwanese, and is often promoted as a structurally sophisticated language that preserves archaic form. Okay, so now even though two terms they are supposed to be synonymous, now they have assumed kind of different meaning. So in contrast, Thai is often used to refer to Taiwanese young adults who are local but try to be above themselves. Okay, this is according to Dr. Su's classification. So what's the social linguistic factor behind? Evaluation of Thai varies in terms of gender and education. As we have seen, the females seem to rate them lower, and the higher educated one seem to appreciate less something being Thai. So female and the higher educated one tend to evaluate Thai more negatively. The male and the lower educated tend to evaluate Thai less negatively. This is according to the survey that is done in the study. And age also play a significant role in the evaluation of Thai. Members of younger generation tend to evaluate it more negatively. The younger they are, the more negative the attitude. Okay? Because this Thai actually they started out in the 70s, 80s, and so the younger generation born after the 90s, like Joe, right? Do you evaluate them pretty lowly, negatively? Okay. He's shy to tell us. And ethnicity does not have any significant effect. Okay, it doesn't matter what ethnic group you belong to. So there's a conic relationship between the attitude and the language practice. Taiwanese accented Mandarin, Taiwan 国语, as a stigmatized label, is often stereotyped as a result of a Taiwanese speaker's failed attempt at acquiring the standard accent. Note here, the standard is put in quote, not only because we are linguists, we don't believe in standard language, but also here, the standard refers to the mentality of the writer or the use by a certain group. Non-linguistic characteristic associated with Taika also shows a parallel, iconic relationship between attitude and the language practice. For example, wearing fake designer brands or mixing inconsistent fashion elements unwisely in an outfit that would imply failure to acquire the mainstream fashion sense, both a lack of competence and material resources. Okay, so this is the kind of iconic relationship between language and attitude and language practice.